Okay. Fun fact: my recorder started with a timer of sorts. I'm like, ooh, how can I do that more? But I'm gonna go with it. Welcome to the channel, Allison Appreciates. Thank you for coming to discuss a law of assumption with me. I'm a law of assumption coach with a soothing nervous system regulation bent, and I love talking about law of assumptions, so let's get started. You can't serve two masters is a really important concept, and it makes so much sense, doesn't it? Because, it's like when people say, oh, that person always says this thing but does the other, and it's like those two things just don't compute, right? It just doesn't work, and that's why they can be really frustrating. Well, we can be frustrating to ourselves in the same way by trying to serve both masters, which doesn't work. So it's like trying to keep your old story alive and have it be just as prevalent as your new story, having it have as much weight as your new story. That's what happens when people get overly invested in when things happen in the 3D while they are creating their new story. The 3D shows up, you're like, but wait, I've been working over here on this. I've been investing my new story. I've been telling my new story. I know I've been pretty good. How come this thing over here happened? And what happens is you try to serve two masters, and that doesn't work. So how do you only serve one master? Well, I think the most important thing is to commit to the new story no matter what. So have your reaction to the 3D in the moment if you can't help it, if you can't stop it. But remind yourself that you don't want to get stuck there. You don't want to spiral. You're just going to let it out. You're going to have that experience of that emotion of anger or frustration. You are going to allow it to flow through your body because emotions are just energy in motion, so that's no problem. And then you're going to regulate and you're going to come back to the news story. So basically, making the news story dominant means making your imagination the most important place, making whatever you do to maintain the news story, to believe the news story, to feel the news story, to experience the news story, any of those verbs, any of those action verbs, whatever you're doing there is the focus. It's not about managing how you feel about 3D, because every time the 3D comes up, it's just old news. It's just old assumptions playing out. They aren't a big deal because you're focused on the news story. We're going to the news story. It's all about going to the news story. It's all about deciding what is most important, which is the new story. The new story has nothing to do with the old story. We can thank the old story for it helping us to create what we wanted and what we want, and helping us focus, because when the old story does show up, now that you know what you know, well, you're not going to let that slow you down. Gross. We're not doing that anymore. So the new story is the most important part, and the new story is told by your new master, right? So when it comes to our new master, we govern our new story by mind and speech, by not speaking against our desires. We don't do that. We speak for our desires. We are their champion. We are their campaign manager. We use I am, which is the name of God, for what we prefer and what we want. We don't use it in ways that don't serve us. And I'm guilty of it too, but I'm working on it. I work very diligently to not say I am tired or I am annoyed. I'm experiencing feelings of annoyance. I am experiencing feelings of light fatigue. I am experiencing feelings of there. See, almost, well, that's close, but I'm experiencing feelings of frustration, right? Because that's not who we are. We are God. God is all knowing. God is all wonderful. God is all powerful. So we want to use I am to our benefit always. I am strong. I am competent. I am well able. I am creative. I am interesting. I am attractive. I am desirable. I am fun. I am interesting. I am loved. I am love. I am the prize. I am appreciative. I am appreciated. I am wonderful. I am full. I am smart. I am clever. I am consistent. I am persistent. So we want to go there. We want to go there with our speech, and then with our mind. It's up to us to see what we'd prefer on a more consistent basis. And this can take a variety of ways, because this can be like the phone call method, where you're on the phone with your SP or someone that you want to hear good news from. I want to hear good news from job interviews. So I want to hear them say I've got the job, right? I want to answer the phone. I can either do it with with an actual phone, which I have sometimes done, and hear it ring with my ringtone and hear them and hear myself say hello, hear myself answer and say hello, and then have a conversation, which I've done before, which is very helpful. And I find it very relaxing too, just to go on a walk and take a phone call, because no one has to know that the other person is in your imagination for now. So there's that. Of course, you can have the whole conversation inside your mind and hear your voice and their voice, right? We can do that. We can, of course, visualize. The best time is when we're in a sleepy, drowsy state, morning and night. But you can lock in a 30-second scene as well to just keep in your back pocket when you're kind of feeling like you need to give it to yourself, because that's how all of this works. We must give it to ourselves first. And I used to believe that we had to do that by feeling it real, which of course is wonderful. But if you can't feel it as real, give it to yourself with one of your two gifts, speech. Oh no, I am loved. Of course SP loves me. Of course I'm getting that job. Of course people want to work with me. Of course money always comes to me easily. Okay, so the two gifts are there to inform, not to inform, they are there to carry out your desires. Your desire, when it happens, that's informing what you're going to do to get it with your gifts of mind and speech. And so, yeah, we can't serve two masters. So when you catch yourself in a spiral, when you catch yourself with your wonderful awareness that it's not going well, and you're starting to look at some evidence, oh, am I serving the old master? Oh, am I doing that thing I said I wasn't going to do anymore? I'm serving that old master by keeping that alive. Neville said, to sin means to miss the mark. It doesn't mean we're doing something bad. It means to miss the mark. It means to not hold the new desire. It means to not serve the new master. And what are we doing now? We're serving the new master. That is what we are doing. We are serving the new master. So, how to serve the new master? You build that new story up. It takes as much energy to think about the old story as the new story. I know you don't believe that that could be true, but it's true. What it is about the new story that trips us up sometimes is that it's new. So we don't have the evidence, and the five senses bring, of course, strong evidence, because we can see it, touch it, taste it, hear it, feel it. So they bring that strong evidence that we don't have yet for the new story. So that's why it is powerful. And we told it to ourselves more often, right? More likely than not. So we have to practice the new story. And we have to commit to practicing the new story. And you can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Because believe me, before I became someone who cultivated a natural positive attitude, I used to dwell in my old story a lot. And hence, things that I wanted were kept from me for a long time. But that's okay, because everything that came before us can inform us for the next thing. And I'm no longer allowing any kind of lengthy spiral to dictate things. And I'm no longer, of course, before this work, believing that the old story still had power or that it was true, right? It's no longer true. And we can rewrite it, we can revise it and say, it never was true. Because what is true is my new story. What is true is what I want. What is true is what I'm going to get. And I always get what I want. I always get what I want. I always get what I want. And I am safe and secure in knowing that. And I'm safe and secure in welcoming that in. I'm safe, I'm secure in welcoming that in. Okay? So, time to serve one master, the one who holds all of your desires, the God within who wants you to have everything, who is you, who gave you those desires for a reason. They're yours for a reason. Okay, so we're going to serve the new master by developing the new story, by committing to the new story, by being consistent and persistent in the new story. And we know how to deal with spirals. We don't give them any attention because we don't do spirals anymore. They're not part of our vocabulary. No. We know what the oldest part of our brain is doing. It's keeping us alive, and we thank it. But there's a new way to run the show. And that's what we're focused on. We're focused on the new way to run the show. So, thank you if you're here at the end of the video. Thank you to all my OG subscribers. Thank you to the new ones. And thank you to everyone who's coming along on this journey and likes to talk about law of assumption and likes to assume that what they want is theirs and likes to live in the end and dwell in the wish fulfilled and likes to live their best life with me. So thank you. And that is it for today. So, can't serve two masters, so serve the one that serves you best, the one that lines up with your desires. And we will see you another time. Thanks for watching.